Hey there, hi there, ho there. Welcome to another issue of Comic Book 101. We are back for issue number 10.
10? We made it to 10.
We've made it to 10. Hello there, everyone.
Where's the alcohol for that one?
I am your wonderful, prettiful, beautiful host, the Princess of Weird himself, Josh Johnson. Oh, I am so dang beautiful that you wouldn't believe, because I'm a princess, Michael. And of course, joined with me, as always, to my left,
the evermore beautiful. That doesn't sound right. No.
No.
Just
see?
Michael cosplaying Tampa Bay.
See, you can't take my...
beautiful. Beautiful sounds too girly, and I'm not girly.
I'm a princess, so I can do whatever the heck I want, because that's what I do, y'all. So anyway, welcome once again to Comic Book 101, issue number 10. We have a lot going on this week, ladies and gentlemen. You could have been anywhere in the world, but we want to thank you for joining us here this week. We've got a lot to get into right off the bat. I think we just need to throw up the graphic there, maybe keep it up there the whole show. You see, with the coronavirus going around, a lot of businesses have been impacted, and of course, over here at WeBeam TV, we haven't had a lot of impact on it, but we have been receiving some impact from this. And there you can see, if you have the Cash App, you can use $WeBeamTV and donate some money to the station and help keep great shows like this one, Comic Book 101, each and every week coming to you live like we do. We want to provide this entertainment for you as best as we can, especially through this trying times. Yes, we understand there is a lot going on, especially in the world of comic books, and we will get to that in a second. But to keep us on the air, to keep everything going the way we all like it to do, there you go. You can go and donate, support the station, $WeBeamTV on the Cash App. But we'll be popping that up here and there. You're not going to have to do that.
I'm not doing what we did on Nerd Talk.
Nope, but if you would like to see that, you can, of course, go check out on WeBeam TV the repeats of Nerd Talk and, of course, all of our back issues of Comic Book 101 TV each and every week right there on our Facebooks and YouTube and WeBeam TV. And see what he did for money. But moving right along, we got to thank our wonderful favorite to full spot. Yeah, I can't talk right now. Yeah. We got to thank our good friends over at Yancey Street Comics. Thank you guys once again for providing us with a lot of our comic books this week. Unfortunately, might not be able to visit them this week.
Yeah,
but that's a whole nother issue we're going to be getting into here in a second.
Let's talk about comics coming out right now in the future.
Yeah, let's get to that. So, first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, we got to let you know that it is a sad day here at Comic Book 101 TV, because for as long as I've been alive, as long as Michael's been alive, every Wednesday is New Comic Book Day. Over the past few weeks, some shops have been getting them on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
However, starting next week, no more New Comic Book Day for the foreseeable future. Diamond Publishing, the guys who put out the Previews magazine each and every month, the guys who are part of the distribution company that gets all of your wonderful comics, whether it's DC, Marvel, Boom Studios, Valiant, Vertigo, whatever your comic company may be, they usually go through Diamond, and unfortunately, with everything going on, they're not going to be able to get a lot of the new books. They had to put a halt on a lot of this. Even companies like Valiant, who we're going to talk about a little bit later on with our character Spotlight, they completely pencils down. We're not drawing, we're not writing, we're not doing anything for the next.
Are they going to have digital comics still being released?
No, there will not even be digital comics. Nothing. However, what the companies are doing, since we are in the midst of a lot of stories, we are in the midst of a lot of future stories coming out, like the Dark Knight's Death Metal, the Joker 80th anniversary,
Unkillables, Power
Empire, the last of the Power Rangers, so many different ones.
The new Spider-Girl one that just came out.
Exactly. All of these comics are going to be put on hold retroactively. So come around June, July, when things hopefully have equaled out and leveled out for us here, the new comics will start coming again. This means if you are trying to be a collector in today's market, this is the perfect opportunity to visit your local shop, hit them up, get a subscription, I'm losing my pen here, get one of these subscription, get these back issues. They can still order anything that is still
just
back
new
issue.
Comics
everything after April 1st, after what would come out next Wednesday, is on a clear stop now until all of this coronavirus stuff.
And this is also good, because I know when I used to collect a lot more comics back in the day, my subscription box would be pack where I would be several months behind, but I kept buying and buying. So it's a good time to catch up on them buy everything you have.
Oh yeah, if you were trying to get these Ninja Turtle comics, it's a great time to get them. If you were trying to get into some of the DC Comics stuff, heck, one of the best things you should be doing right now, because it's not coming out next week, Batman number 93. This is your warning, people. Go pre-order it now, because in July, when this comic comes out, you're going to sit here and tell us, well, we didn't know. We've been going to warn you from here till then.
Buy it.
93 is the issue where Punchline slits Harley Quinn's throat in a fight. That's right, number 93 of Batman, Harley Quinn gets her throat cut by Punchline,
and if we
Joker's new assistant.
If we learned anything about Punchline, the first comic she came out with sold out
instantly.
That same day.
And especially if we all have to wait a few months after hearing this news, knowing what's coming down the pipeline, why not try to get 92, 91, 90, 89, 88, all these old past Batman issues, so you can catch up on this story. There are other stories that are out there, like DC's Unkillables. There's so many... I can't even begin to describe how many books there are out there.
Mark Muncy, which we're going to talk about Mark later because I have a book from him, he said Knights of the Dinner Table will still be shipping from Kenzer Company since they're done out of their house.
Nice.
So,
So
a lot
some of these
local
independent-
artists may still be able to write them and ship them directly to you from their house.
Exactly. That's an entirely other beast when we get into the world of independent comics sometimes. Because, heck, if you wanted to be a comic book artist, a comic book writer, or anything, today is the day to start self-publishing. Legit.
Yeah.
If there was ever a time or a place to start self-publishing your book, it is now. I know
Even
a guy...
if you do it just online right now, not even actually print it, just put online comics till you get enough build where you can get the money to start printing.
Exactly. I know a few different people. There's an artist out there named Buckshot. He wrote a comic book called Dogs of War. Perfect time for him to start selling that book. He's already been putting out online some of his commissions and stuff that he's been doing and stuff like that. He's made wonderful prints for Chikara Pro. He's done a lot of things for Brawl USA, a few other companies. Heck, he's closely related to a ring announcer here in the state of Florida. But check him out, Buckshot, a talented artist. Maybe we'll have him on the show to discuss his book one day.
Be a great idea.
Yes, that it would be. And continuing on with the news of bad, we also have to report
This one's a hard one too.
that Free Comic Book Day, or as it was going to be redubbed last week, Free Comic Book May, is officially canceled-ish. It is now being postponed once again, thanks to the coronavirus. So come June, July, once again, when the comic books start getting back into shelves, Free Comic Book Day is going to be right around the corner when that all happens. I'm personally happy for this because for us, we were looking to do a lot of big plans for Free Comic Book Day this year, maybe teaming up with our good friends over at Yancey Street Comics, maybe a few other spots. We don't know yet because we're still trying to build those plans, but now we are given way more time. It gives you way more time to start getting into some of these books because when Free Comic Book Day rolls around, everybody's going to be wanting to grab their free books. They're going to be wanting to know what shops are doing what. Unfortunately, in these hard-pressing times, there are shops that are closing their doors right now.
And that's the hard part because this is all their money. They rely on all these new comic books weekly. So definitely go out there, buy some back issues, buy toys, order. They still said, I know, Yancey Street said they still can order toys. They just can't get the comics. So
anything that has come out from this week past, for the most part, whether it be action figures, board games, comic books, whatever it may be, whatever you are collecting, you can go out and pre-order these, or not even pre-order, order these items, have them shipped directly to your comic book shop, and you won't have to worry anymore about it. Now, yes, that does mean there are a lot of issues and stuff that it will be coming out, so to give you an idea, so...
Gives you time to save money for all those issues, too, coming out.
So when we had started this show, we had started talking about the little-known magazine known as Previews. Now, here I have the DC Previews edition for February of 2020. Everything that was listed in this book is actually coming out the beginning of April. So, with that being said, anything that you would have found in your Previews magazine for the month of April, you're not going to be able to get. But that doesn't mean it's not coming out. Joker 80th edition will still come out. We're just going to have to wait for it, like Free Comic Book Day. We're going to have to hold off. We're all going to have to do our parts to either stay quarantined, you know, do the bare essentials of everything. You know, we want everybody to be healthy, happy, and having fun, you know.
So here's a question I have. So, we know Previews isn't going to come out next month now.
Yes.
Sadly. What about wanting to pre-order those special toys in there, the collectibles?
Even those are now put on hold, ladies and gentlemen, because those actually got put on hold way before all of this, because when China started going through their bit of the coronavirus, where it originated and stuff, a lot of the factories, like Hasbro's factory, got shut down. A couple other toy factories have gotten shut down. But as of this week, Hasbro has started to report that some of their factories have been getting put back online, and so we'll start seeing some of these newer figures starting to be made and coming down the pipeline, hopefully sooner rather than later.
And Mark said the company that we just mentioned, Knights of the Dinner Table, they're coming up on their 30th anniversary.
Nice,
They're
congratulations,
just right behind
guys.
Bone and Spawn, he said.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool. Definitely got to check into them now.
And once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to support the station, help us out here at Comic Book 101 and WeBeam TV, please pull out the Cash App. It's simple, it's easy. You can take a QR code photo right there, or you can use $WeBeam TV and have that sent to us. That will help out the station immensely. We appreciate all of you for helping us out here each and every week. We're going to plug it throughout our entire show here today because it is that important for us.
Yeah, it's not only just for our show, but for WeBeam TV in general. A lot of our other shows have been put on hold because of the virus. A show that we do here, they come from Orlando and they're not able to drive out here because of everything. So this is our way to keep everybody going right now.
Exactly. It may be a small crew here at the Tampa Bay Multimedia WeBeam TV studios, but we are a dedicated crew, we are a loyal crew, and we want to provide you with as much entertainment as we can, and you donating a little bit of money, donating a little time to help us over here at WeBeam TV helps us out immensely. Now, we're going to move on, get out of some of this bad funk news. Now, you're wondering how this news is going to affect us here at Comic Book 101 TV. It doesn't really affect us that much, believe it or not. It affects us in the sense of our next segment, New Comics of the Week, won't be going on each and every week from here on out. We'll have it next week, yes.
Yeah.
But this week is our New Comics of the Week. Come a couple weeks from now, we've got some ideas, so we'll see what happens with that. But for this week's New Comics, take it away, Michael Stanley.
So we'll start with one of my favorite comic book heroes. I have a tattoo of him and everything. Spawn, number 306 came out. Written, of course, by Todd McFarlane. Art by Philip Tan. Cover by McFarlane and Tan. It's a Prophecy of Death, Part 1. The future is full of terrors and unleashed by Al Simmons. A strange new threat unravels as the origin of the all-new ninja Spawn begins.
Now, this was a pretty big issue for Spawn. It was, I remember you seeing there was a few different covers for this issue that happened to come out.
The cover I picked was the variant cover with no writing on it at all.
Yes.
Just because I like that full artwork McFarlane does.
Yes, and McFarlane's one heck of an artist. I believe there were a couple other artists who contributed to this artwork a little bit. Once again, Spawn number 306. It is a really decent comic book. There you see it with all of its glory. It's the same cover, but it's just got all the extra logos and stuff like that, the stuff that you need to, identify a comic book at times. Because he actually had to tell me.
Identify it.
He actually had to tell me the
number for it,
what issue number it was, so I could have it ready for our notes and stuff.
I know I'm not going to sell my comics, so it's just going to sit up in my Spawn collection against my wall.
Oh, that's always good. So for me, my first comic pickup of the week happened to be this little bad boy right here. It is Starship Down. We have been talking about this issue for a few weeks now because there was supposed to be a signing with Andrea Moody, the artist of Starship Down, at Yancey Street Comics. Unfortunately, that was also postponed, but they did say if you picked up the book over the next couple of weeks, whenever it is rescheduled, you can just bring your book in and it'll be automatically signed. You won't have to buy a new one. You won't have to repurchase 5 other copies or anything. You just bring your 1 copy in and they'll automatically sign it for you.
And we'll definitely be there when that gets rescheduled, hopefully do an interview with them as well.
Once again, a lot of stuff got put on hold because of the coronavirus, ladies and gentlemen. We do apologize. There's not much we can do here about it at the WeBeam TV studios and the Comic Book 101 TV crew, but we did want to report it to you as it comes out. Now, Starship Down, of course, is the book we've been talking about each week that this is a very unique story in which they discover a UFO in the like the Siberian Arctic area, like over in that area. I'm not great with locations and geology and stuff, but they find a UFO in the ice with Neanderthal cave drawings about it and stuff like that, which completely changes the history of the world, because if the aliens visit us during caveman times, that throws everything we know completely out of whack. And this book is them.
We know they came during Egyptian, not caveman.
I'm not even touching that one. So, nevertheless, really good read. I read the whole first issue. Heck of a really good job on this book. I can't wait to see how things evolve a little bit more, no pun intended, with this story.
Definitely have to check that one out. Next one I came out with was Robin Hood, the 80th anniversary. Did I say Robin Hood?
Yes, you did.
Wow.
It is not Robin Hood.
Good thing I caught that now and not have fixed it.
Robin
80th anniversary. There was a lot of different covers for this one. I had to get one of my favorite artists, Frank Miller's cover. And so I grabbed that. Robin Boy Wonder 80th anniversary in style with an all-star creative team representing each iteration of the iconic character across 8 decades of history, from the high-flying Dick Grayson to the tragedy of Jason Todd, the enthusiasm of Tim Drake, and the arrogance of Damian Wayne, which is personally one of my favorites.
But you're also forgetting your personal favorite from Frank Miller, that is Stephanie Brown, who is pictured on his cover.
Next. Yes.
Me personally, my favorite Robin was, and will always be Dick Grayson. You are the man, Dick. Never forget it.
Dick started it all off.
Well, Dick did a lot of things, so we're gonna just move along on here. For
Jason Todd's still another great one too.
Nah, there's no Dick Grayson.
So we'll have to do a little segment on Robin one day.
Yeah, it's gonna be all about me fanboying over Dick Grayson for like 3 weeks. Nevertheless, that's a whole nother issue for it. Oh,
Dick Grayson.
Dick Grayson is the only man to get with Batgirl, Starfire, Harley Quinn, and a couple others. Oh, and Zatanna. Like
that one right there is important.
Yeah, like my legit top of
Who
DC
cares about Harley Quinn,
women.
Zatanna?
Yeah. My top of DC women, except for Punchline right now, he's been with, and guaranteed give it about 3 more months and Dick will get some Punchline. Or there'll be a Punchline and Dick. I don't know how this works, but Dick Grayson's the man. So, moving on from the Robin 80th anniversary, unfortunately, we won't get the Joker 80th anniversary coming up soon.
Oh, and that makes me sad because I was looking forward
to that one.
I already talked about pre-ordering all of the covers for that.
Yeah, that's going to be a great one, but we're going to have to wait till June or July for that one now. But I actually happened, and this was a little bit of comic fate, if you will. We were talking last Tuesday as soon as the show was over. We went to Yancey Street Comics to pick up our new comics for the week.
We always do.
And I happened to go to the dollar bin, like I always do each and every time we are there, just to see what's there. And we had been discussing what we may do for the character spotlight, what we might not do for the character spotlight, like we always do. And we kind of came up with the idea of doing something that we haven't done before. Not brand new to us though.
Yeah.
Valiant Comics has a character known as Bloodshot, who has a movie coming out. And just so happened to be Comic Fate, I picked up not only issue number 3, but I got issues number 4 and number 5 as well of the original Bloodshot series. This is made in 1993, ladies and gentlemen, and it is the first, not necessarily first issues, but issues number 3, 4, and 5 of this book series. Of course, I'm missing issues number 1, 2, and like the rest of them. Yeah. But for $3, what a great pickup. Like I said, it was Comic Fake. We were discussing maybe talking about them. As soon as I picked up those books, it became one of those, we have to do it now.
Might as well do it then.
It doesn't happen like that very often, ladies and gentlemen, and when it does, you got to pick them up. And legit, did not expect to find these books in the dollar bin. Even Steve over at Yancey Street Comics was surprised that they were in the dollar bin because somebody made a mistake.
Especially now. With the movie coming out, it's a good time. Go ahead
to get into this character.
Learn about the character before you see the movie. Because there's always going to be that difference of the actual origin from the comic to the movie.
And when we get into that, we'll get into that with Bloodshot a little bit later on. But Michael, I believe you picked up another comic this week. We had a lot of comics this week.
I bought a bunch of comics this week. I don't know. I just went happy with comics.
Yeah.
Yes. I went back and got, because I enjoyed the first book, DCeased, Unkillables 2. Writer by Tom Taylor, artwork by Carl Mustert.
And there you see the original cover.
Art by Trevor Scott and Ben Oliver. With the world ending around them, Red Hood and Batgirl take shelter in the most unlikely places. An orphanage full of children. Will they be able to protect the kids from the hordes of infected streaming out of Gotham City and Bloodhaven, or will Deathstroke, Vandal Savage, and DC's worst villains battle the apocalypse out anti-Suicide Squad style? So
yeah, I personally haven't been getting in this one. After a lot of the zombie craze of the past 5 years, I've kind of dwindled out unless George Romero's name is on it, or Marvel, because Marvel Zombies was quite amazing and really entertaining. I liked when DC did this the first time with the Blackest Night storyline, but there's not much we can do about this. I'm not the guy writing the books, but hey, if you're into that kind of thing, this is where you're at. Right?
This cover,
the Full Metal Jacket cover does look amazing, though.
That's why I got the whole Full Metal Jacket look.
You know, there are only two things that come from Texas, and we're not going to get into that.
Oh no, that's a good quote, but bad right now.
So then we continue on.
One of them steers.
The other one is something we're not going to use because it's a very derogatory term, and we don't believe in derogatory terms on this show, at least right here. But nevertheless, we are going to talk about Batman number 91, ladies and gentlemen. Michael picked up this issue. I picked up this issue because we have been getting hardcore foaming at the bits at time, especially me over Punchline, wanting to find out more about her, wanting to read as much as I can. Unfortunately, she was not in this issue, but we do get to see Harley Quinn and Catwoman fighting it out against a bunch of Jokerized Gotham City Police Department members and a whole bunch of other things. Deadshot is fighting, being chased by Harley Quinn, who's using drones to attack him. Batman shows up, and only to find that the designer has been pulling the strings still, and Deathstroke doesn't fit into the plan anymore. So now he's got to reluctantly team with Batman a little bit here. It'll be great to see what happens in issue number 92, and then of course 93, the good old throat slit with HQ and PL.
That'll be interesting.
That will be. I've already seen the panels from it, and it doesn't look like Harley's going to die, but there's definitely she's going to have a little scar, at least.
Not going to be happy.
No. Not in the least.
Then the last one is my personal favorite since they started the storyline, and I'm collecting that whole series.
Yes.
Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles.
We've been talking about it since the start of this very show.
And we finally get to see what I've been waiting for the whole time.
Hey, did I call it? I call that Michelangelo was going to be the Yellow Ranger? I called that one from a mile away.
Ninja Turtles are officially Rangers now. It's canon. I want to see someone cosplay this.
Oh, dude, that would be amazing to
see a full Ninja Turtle suit with a Ranger outfit over it.
Yeah, like that would be pretty
crazy.
Turtle suit underneath, Ranger suit over the top of it, because then you also get the Mighty Morphin Ninja Rangers as they don ninja attire given to them by Master Splinter. But one of the cool things about this book is, once again, I called it. Michelangelo was the Yellow Ranger. April O'Neil was the Pink Ranger. Red Ranger Raphael, Blue Ranger Leonardo, and of course Donatello was the Black Ranger. Which, a little odd. I mean,
well, there was
kind
no
of
purple,
choices.
so...
Well, there wasn't any orange either, so, I mean, it's one of those interesting things, but we saw them take on the Zor, or the big, huge monster sent down by Rita in the middle of New York City. They laid waste to it using the big, giant combiner weapon that the Power Rangers have. And then, of course, at the very end, Bebop and Rocksteady make my monsters grow city-sized. Bebops and Rocksteady.
It's the most creepiest thing to see.
It is the greatest thing to see.
It's great. I'm not arguing.
I'm a huge Rocksteady fan, and getting to see him 50 stories, 100 stories, that just made me
I would love for them to do the show now.
Yeah, I would love to see a full Ninja Turtles movie crossover. Yeah. But you know what gets even better? I don't know if you've seen what happens in the next issue.
No, I'm not. I haven't been spoiling myself.
So they just released what's going to happen, and like they did when they released the photos of the Turtles in Power Ranger outfit, they released the new Megazord. And the new Megazord is part turtle. Has the head of a turtle. How can you go wrong? It's almost like Metalhead. Yeah. It's almost like Metalhead with this particular one. I'm enjoying the story. Rita and Shredder are now at ends with each other because everything seems to be going wrong on their side of the plans, because everything seems to be going right for the Power Rangers and the Turtles, because that's how these stories usually work out.
The good guys always win. Most of the time.
Most of the time.
Most of the
90% of the
time.
time. So, but yeah, so really good book. I've been enjoying the heck out of these.
Artwork's amazing.
Yeah,
and that's my favorite part of it.
There's nothing bad we can say about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
I want
the series.
the toys of that.
Yeah,
I want a Power Ranger Ninja Turtle figure.
The only thing that might hold something up like that is because Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles are owned by two different companies. So that's where we might get a little bit on the toys. But there have been other ones.
People that kit bash too. That
very much so. But even then, I would have said the same thing about the Batman Turtle toys, and we were able to get those as well. So who knows what the future of the action figure world may hold for us in the next couple of years, especially if this book takes off. I didn't expect to see a Lord Drakkon figure as quickly as we did, but he's become one of the most important things in Power Rangers.
Him. Well, I found him. But he's jacked up in price on eBay.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to pay $50, but I may have to.
But that's going to take care of all of our new comics of the week, which means we have to move on to our brand new figure purchases of the week. Now, Michael, you happened to go out and start the theme of today's action figures.
Before I do that, I want to show off these that I got. Because they're not listed on our thing. I found these wonderful little Star Wars cups right here.
From Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut, 1997. And I was just curious. I got them for a really good price.
So let me ask you, Michael, do you know why they were re-released in 1997?
The cups?
Yes.
No.
You have no idea?
No. Oh, the release of the
re-release of the special editions of Star Wars Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi with all the extra stuff, like, you know,
we're not going to talk about
Han Solo running down some extra hallways, Jabba the Hutt, some of those extra.
First and
I don't mind that a little bit. I mean, once again, George Lucas can do whatever he wanted to because it was his films. And in the end of the day, everybody's sitting here today wishing George Lucas still had it. Yeah. So who was really the right one in the end?
But yeah, these were from back then. I did some homework on eBay. They're going for almost $20 a cup.
That is not that bad.
I paid $1 per cup.
That's really good.
That could be a good turnaround. And that's another thing. Always check out garage sales, flea markets. You never know what you find there. Even if it's something you're not interested in collecting, there's markets for it.
Yes.
Check into it. Maybe someone else on eBay may be interested. You might make your money back plus a little.
And that's
nothing wrong with that.
Yes. No, there is nothing completely wrong with that. You will hear me defend that all day, every day. Unfortunately, Mr. Michael over here hates when people do that because his Lord Drakkon figure is now $50.
No, there's a difference between finding something like this and buying it than a scalper going to the stores buying 20 of that figure, then putting them on eBay.
There is no difference, sir.
There is a difference.
There is no difference. You want to know why there is no difference?
You
know why there's no difference? Because it's all about supply and demand.
Yes,
if you cannot buy that figure in store, and they're the only place to get it is through them.
The scalper buys all 20 of them.
Yeah, that's the way it is sometimes. Look, how hard is it to find Funko Chase Pops?
Oh, yeah.
It's dang near impossible. Why? Most employees at the shops or wherever they're being sold, as soon as they see the word Chase, they pull it for themselves. Is that fair? No, that is not fair, but that's the market we live in. That is what we have to deal with being collectors in today's
New York Comic Con, I ran through that issue with Funko Pops. You had to have a lottery to be able to buy the Pops. Not everybody could win that lottery. I'm fine with that. I didn't win it, but there were people that won it and bought 5 of every figure. They went outside the dealer's room, put them all on the ground, and sold them for $50 a figure.
Hey, it's about making money. It's the figure world and the comic world, the collecting world, and so long as somebody's willing to pay a price for it, that's the price for whatever it's going to be. Hey, it might not.
I don't mind paying a little more for my Drakkon figure, but I'm not spending $7,500 that people.
No, that's absolutely ridiculous.
It's a $20 figure.
But this is the thing. What most people don't realize when they do that and they go and look on eBay and they just see like highest to lowest and they see a figure listed at $100, doesn't mean the figure's worth $100.
No.
The best way to find out what a figure is worth, go into your eBay, go into your settings, look at the sold listings.
Yeah.
That will give you the best option and the best idea of what the figure or collectible you're looking at is worth in today's market, because that's what people are actually paying for the particular figure. Every single thing I buy, that's what I tend to do just to make sure I'm getting a decent deal off of what I'm buying. Now, there are certain things
there are certain things you really, really want for your collection, and you'll pay a little bit more even if it's above price, and that's understandable.
That is very true. But you got to
Well, let's go back to where we were going.
Now, I said he started off a little bit of a trend here.
Yeah, so
because he bought this Gamorean guard from Just Toys, Bend-Ems 1994 Star Wars line.
And this was at Gainesy Street Comics in their half-off bin.
And before you open that, I want to show this, which is another Just Toys Bend-Em. Let me throw in you throw yours in your camera, I'll throw mine in my camera. So I've got a Triple H Hunter Hearst Helmsley, one of my all-time favorite wrestlers, period. Like, yeah. So this is another Just Toys Bend-Em from 1997. Same style of figure, entirely different looks to them, entirely different packages,
97.
and even more so, mine comes with an exclusive collectible card on the back.
Mine comes with a card inside it.
And yours is on the inside, so it just goes to show you what the difference of a couple of years on a toy line can equal out for some of these things.
That's 97. This was 94.
Yeah.
They did this. Then they decided not to do that and put it on the back.
Yeah, exactly, because it's saved on packaging, saved on space. Look, a figure like this in the shelves, while they probably were the same price, that one may run you a little bit more, may have run you a little bit more because there's more plastic in the packaging. With this one, not so much. There's more details in that one because of the way they had to produce the figure. But you get to open this bad boy first.
I am opening it. Part of me is dying inside doing it, but it was actually very clean, too.
Yeah, that was
non-smoker.
Well, even then, sometimes the yellowing of the carding has nothing to do with it being a smoker's house.
So we'll show the card first.
It's a bunch of people in my ship. They need to get out. So, but no, I don't know if you know this or not, a lot of that yellow carding and stuff has nothing to do with smokers. It has more so with either sun damage or the particular type of plastic that was used.
Where are we putting
to see right here. We put them at the top of the arrow. It won't stand. I'm telling you, they're Bend-Ems. They do not stand. Oh, there he goes. I told you.
Over.
He's been drinking. Of course he has. He's been hanging out with Jabba the Hutt. When you see a Slave Leia bikini, you can do nothing but drink.
Sad they won't stand, but you
so
know what?
now it's time for me to open mine. So I got the little nub here.
Now.
Get my figure out. There he is. He is the gamer. And just for poops and giggles, let's tear out the card too. Because I usually throw out the packages at the end of the night, but there you go. All done. Woohoo! So yeah, cards. There we go. It's his time. It's time to play the game.
It's all about the game.
And how you play it. And how much you can rip it off. Because I've ripped it off a lot. But that's another story for another day. But we're going to move onward from our figures of the week to Mr. Cosplay in Tampa Bay's favorite topic of the week. Of course, our cosplayer of the week.
So we'll go ahead and pull up her wonderful outfits. There she is. So Gamorean Cosplay.
Who is it? We don't even know who she is. She does cosplay.
What's the lower third? Why is it not up there?
He's getting to it. Come on now. Rob can only do so much here.
Shooting Star Cosplay.
You got to let him know when he's getting to.
There she goes.
And you can find her on Instagram and Facebook with this handle.
She got invited to MegaCon in 2014. A friend told her all about it and threw a little cosplay for her before the con. She went, hung out with a bunch of other cosplayers, and it was a fun experience. Her favorite cosplay has to be her Halloween Dia, Fairy Tale Dia. I'm not going to be able to pronounce this name correctly, but we're going to try it. Senzabazanukura Luca. I apologize. I know I butchered that name. And Tracer are her favorites.
She's a tracer?
Yeah, she does a tracer.
So she just colors around the lines?
No.
That's what a tracer is.
Overwatch Tracer. The game.
So she traces over Overwatch? I'm not understanding this. That's what tracers do.
He's not a gamer. We know that.
They're called colorists.
She loves to cosplay because it gives her a chance to be creative and learn new skills and also show off her favorite characters. Her next cosplay is probably going to be Cinderfall from Ruby Volume 7 or Villainous Luca, most likely in the later.
Well, there you go.
And if you know anything about Ruby, that's going to be a great outfit because I'm a huge Ruby fan. I know you probably never watched the anime. It's from Rooster Teeth. It's a great.
I've watched anime in my life. I'm just not that big of a fan. I prefer American animation myself. But that's
It is American animation. Ruby's from Rooster Teeth in Texas.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Don't watch it either way.
We're a huge Rooster Teeth fan here.
Yeah, well, you guys are, not necessarily me.
I'd watch become one.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're going to move on, ladies and gentlemen, from
Thank you, Shooting Star Cosplay, by
from
the
our
way.
cosplayer of the week, the one and only Shooting Star Cosplay. Add her on Facebook or Instagram. Tell her Comic Book 101 sent ya.
If you ever need cosplay shoot, hit me up.
Any
Also,
type
if
of
you
photo
want to
shoot.
become a cosplayer of the week, just send us a message because
At
we're
Comic
looking
Book
for
101
cosplayers.
TV on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that great stuff. Just add us at Comic Book 101 TV so we can add you as our cosplayer of the week. Also, do not forget, with everything that's going on in the world today, we do have to mention about our support system here over at the Cash App. If you send a little bit of money, 1, 5, 10, 20, 50, who knows, any little bit helps, please our $ WeBeamTV to send us a little bit of money. It helps keep the station running, helps shows like Comic Book 101, Nerd Talk, UFO Woman.
Yes.
All these great shows come to your house each and every week.
You know what? I said I wouldn't do it. I'll do it. If someone donates $25.
John, can you make sure that this goes
if
on?
someone donates $25, it has to be one whole thing.
A one whole $25. Oh my
I
goodness.
will.
Papa Tech
I
just popped in the
will
windows. I've never seen so
Two
appreciative.
spankings with the paddleboard that I did last Friday on Nerd Talk.
If you did not see that on Nerd Talk, ladies and gentlemen,
watch
they
it.
put him through a heck of a lot of torture. And
But-
I'm looking around. There's nobody on the set but me. So if you want to see complete and utter...
And you know what? I'm stupid. I don't think before I say stuff,
Yeah, no.
so it's already done. This will be the third time it's happened if someone donates money.
Yes, it is. So
We're
there
going to
you
have,
go.
if this happens tonight, I'm going to have to get Rob to make a whole little video collage
Of
the
this.
Mike spankings from last year to
Maybe you just
now.
earned yourself a new nickname there. So anyway, $25.
I will do it. And just for the record, John, you cannot be the one to donate the money.
Well, there we go. But
Nobody
John,
from the
please
studio
let
can
us
do
know if somebody donates that $25.
And I need
or
proof. I
if
need
somebody
proof. I need
donates the
proof of it.
$25, John, just come in here with the paddleboard. It'll be fun. But let's move on. Please donate to the Support the Station over on the Cash App. $25 for each 25 gets him 2 slaps in the rear. So let's do this, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm a sucker.
Heck, for $50, as he's getting spanked, we'll make sure we record it. He'll scream your name, and we will send it to you. How's about that one?
What kind of show is this turning into?
It's turning into a shill to get some money for the station. So anyway, ladies and
I
gentlemen,
may be screaming a name if I get hit.
you'll be screaming my name either way because I'm the princess in charge. But nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to our character spotlight of the week. There you go with the amazing graphics. I am so interested in this particular subject right now because normally we do DC Comics, normally we do Marvel Comics and trade back and forth. There's very rarely do we go outside that realm, but given what comes out in video on demand today, when we had talked about it, it wasn't out on video on demand yet, but Bloodshot is a brand new film coming to theaters. Well, not anymore. It's already been in theaters for like 2 weeks. But now it's coming to video on demand from Sony Pictures, and you can watch it for $20 right now. You can, as soon as we're done, go and watch Bloodshot.
So is it
starring
video
Vin
on
Diesel.
demand or is it buy it?
It's video on demand, so you can for $20 you can own it,
Okay,
or
so
you can rent it for a 48-hour period as a rental.
Okay.
So there are the two options, and they would prefer you buy the thing because it obviously would cost a little bit. It costs $20 for it, but nevertheless, this is a great way to see this brand new comic book movie. At the comfort of your own home, where you would have had, like, if this whole thing had not gone on,
It would still be
it'd
in
still
the
be in
theaters
theaters
for another
trying to
month.
puck away, trying to earn some money and stuff, because it didn't have the greatest opening. It's been
Well, I
competing
feel
with some
bad.
tough
Yeah, it hasn't
competition
had the
out
best
there.
opening.
Onward
Plus-
just came out not too long ago
Plus,
from
with
Disney.
everything going on, they're losing a lot of money, and it's not just because the movie's bad, it's because of everything going on.
Even then, the movie wasn't even out long enough for most audiences to make that judgmental decision of whether they thought it was good or it was bad or it was in between. I mean, we've seen the trailers a little bit and stuff like that, which we'll show a little bit later on, but to me, it's one of those things of everything I've read about this character over the past week and stuff. From what I saw from the trailer, they did a pretty decent job of collecting and bottling all the mythos of Bloodshot and delivering it into this movie, like certain things that you would see. So let's get right into it. His first ever appearance was in Eternal Warrior #4 all the way in November 1992. You see it on the right. And then Ride #0 in November of '92. A week later, these two books come out within weeks of each other and are the first introductions of Bloodshot. He appears in one, he has a full appearance in Rye. So this is where it all starts. And Valiant was a brand new upstart company. It was formed by a group of individuals who all left Marvel Comics.
Bob Layton was one of them.
And they all wanted to start their own company, which we hear numerous times over.
Yeah.
You know, look at your favorite comic company started that way as well. So
it was created, Bloodshot was created by Kevin Van Hook, Don Perlman, and Bob Layton, which was one of the founding members for this company there.
Yes. And there was a whole group of them that wound up coming together to form this, and then there was a few of them that would go on to write for Bloodshot, because we would see his very first issue in Bloodshot #1, February of '93.
Go back real quick, you said the first issue was in Rye. He was actually in a couple...
He was in Eternal Warrior #4, was the first one. First appearance,
panels.
Yes, was his first appearance.
First full
appearances was in Rye. And you just saw the two images of the comics that, if you were trying to collect them today, what you would be looking for with those books. And then a few months later, because they knew they were coming out with Bloodshot, this was their way to introduce the character so people could actually know him, learn about him before anything ever even took place about him. So then around February '93, we get Bloodshot #1, the first ever run through of this comic book, and it was a very unique comic to say the least, because this book is about a man who doesn't know his past. He doesn't even know his future. He knows nothing about his life because he is constantly having his memories erased and having new ones put in. So put it this way, in the way the movie plays it off, and the way the books play it off at times, is there's a high target out there. They will then implant memories that this man killed his wife, killed his kid,
to make him want to go after him.
Basically did something horrible to him personally, so now it's a revenge for him. Now it's a bloodlust. Now it's a matter of pride, if you will, for him to go and take out these targets. And he's successful every time. The reason they call him Bloodshot is, as you see by that red circle on his chest, that's not a logo.
No,
that's not
it's an open wound.
Yes, because there are these little nanite robots that crawl through his entire body, make him indestructible. At times he gets his body parts blown off, face blown off, and the nanites will just repair and pull it all back together.
When he goes back to the home base, whatever you call it, it gets hooked up to some weird machine, so that's how everything
heals him up and
fixes him and does a lot more. The nanites do a lot for him, actually.
And in the original telling of this, his name is Angelo Mortelli, has become the ultimate killing machine. His memories were erased, his blood was infused with these microscopic nanite computers, and these nanites allowed him to heal from wounds, dominate electrical devices, fully control every aspect of his body, maximizing his physical condition, his strength, his speed, his endurance, whatever it may be. He was a Frankenstein-like monster used by this corporation to hunt down and kill anybody. Yeah, he can do a lot of great things.
He manipulates machines, but they found it's more probably for manipulating machines. He has to be like a 30-foot radius to them.
And then this would continue on. They would make a fair amount of issues of this book all the way through a good chunk of the 1990s.
The 93 debut, they lasted 51 issues for that.
And then we would get this, Bloodshot Volume #2, and in Volume #2, it's still kind of the same person, still kind of the same story, but everything is slightly different. You see, in between Valiant Comics and what we have now, Acclaim Entertainment, home of amazing video games such as WWF's WrestleMania the Arcade Game, the only good wrestling video game they ever put out, in my opinion. But nevertheless, they were putting out video games, and they bought up Valiant Comics because they saw the big impact that Valiant was having on the industry. Now, mind you, this is an independent comic company. It's not run by Marvel. It's not run by DC. It's run by guys who used to work at these companies, who wanted to go into business for themselves, and boy, howdy did they. They created an entire universe, like Marvel's universe, like DC's cinematic universe, where all of these characters interweave and interconnect in amazing stories. And with this one, it was a reboot of the original Bloodshot series published by Valiant Comics. This series created by writer Len Kaminski and Sal Velluto. I horribly butcher names and stuff like that. It's just what I do. Ask anybody I've ring announced for the past 6 years. But nevertheless, this book would last only 16 issues from 1997 to 1998 because Acclaim Entertainment they weren't in the comic industry. Yeah. Like, yeah, they were a great company. Yeah, they put out a lot of great things. Heck, they put out Mortal Kombat for a short time, I believe. They did a lot of great things, but unfortunately they didn't know how to handle the comic book realm. And around 97, 98 is where you see the big downfall of comics. We almost lost Marvel Comics. Luckily for DC, they were owned by Warner Brothers, so they didn't really have to worry about this, but even they went through a slow period. A lot of comic companies stopped selling comics. This is why Valiant sold to Acclaim, because they weren't really making money. They were producing a lot of stuff, and Acclaim saw that and purchased them to make that.
At that time in 92, 93, 92 is when McFarlane left Marvel Comics, started Image. 93 is when Bob Layton left. So it's a rough time in comics in that time. And then only have huge comic book artists from Marvel, DC leaving those to start
their own companies. Yeah. But even then, even after they start their own companies, even after they make success, everything just bottoms out in the market. Yeah. Nobody wants to buy anything. Heck, the very first issue of Bloodshot was one of the first comic books ever to use that chromarium cover, like that special like foil-looking holographic cover and stuff like that, where it changed, all that stuff. They were the first ones to do that. And then, as we've seen, Marvel did it, DC did it. Like, there were so many books from the 1990s that have that holographic kind of special print cover. With this particular book, they changed up a little bit of his backstory. Not a lot. They added in a few different things like secret government agencies that are sponsored to hunt and kill him down. They have a few other things that go on in here, but it really elaborates more on his nanotechnology and the nanites that flow in Bloodshot's system that help make him the character that he is.
So Mark Muncie's commenting on here, Hellcow. He said, "Third time's a charm, come on, Hellcow."
Mark.
He also said, for the movie, I'll go over that part when we go over to the movie part.
And with this, Bloodshot, eventually, he takes on mobsters, he takes on the police, he takes on everybody. He's an anti-hero, ladies and gentlemen, like a lot of the characters we talk about on here that we absolutely love.
On everything.
Wolverine's an anti-hero, Deadpool's an anti-hero. There are so many of them out there in today's market, and around the 90s was the rise of the anti-hero, especially 92, 93, 94, 95. That's the birth of the anti-hero. And if you ever want living proof of that, look up the date of Stone Cold Steve Austin's Austin 316 promo. The biggest anti-hero in the world of professional wrestling ever to exist comes out in 1996. So the 90s was the birth of the anti-hero. What anybody says, that's what we got. So many characters, not just from the world of comics, but of all entertainment, did we start seeing in this type of form and fashion of, they're doing the right thing to a degree, but they're also murdering people. They're, horribly maiming people. They're flawed characters to a huge degree. Yes. It is, to me, with Bloodshot, it's a lot of a mixture of, if you were to take Wolverine and Deadpool's healing factor, you would take the motives and the man of Frank Castle, and you would take a couple of, some of these other little ones, like maybe the nanites from the Extremis in Iron Man, and a few other different comics, and amalgam them into one character. That's where you kind of get Bloodshot. He's an overpowered character at times, but let's be real, most of us, when we read our comics, we want an overpowered character. Batman has been overpowering people for how many years, till Bane came along and cracked them in two.
The Shadow. That's all Batman is the Shadow.
But even then, that just goes to show you how things change and evolve. Just because, like, look, let's be real. Here we sit in the year 2020. Most of the time, there is not an original idea left on this table, or any table for that matter, but it is how you take your creative juices in entertainment and whatever it may be and spin it and twist it into your own thing. If I would have told you sparkly vampires were going to be worth millions of dollars, you would have laughed in my face in the 90s. But here we sit in 2020, and that franchise has made how much money? You know? The TVs, books, T-shirts, you name it, it exists in our world today, which, thanks to certain comics and certain pop culture, this is why we have the world that we exist in now with all this stuff.
I'm just reading comments. Mark just sent us a link to the other comic we were talking about, The Knights of...
Nice. Yeah. Thank you very much, Mark. We'll definitely address that in our housekeeping.
Sorry, when I
get
comments, I get focused on that time.
But anyway, so Acclaim Entertainment would eventually, they would fold, and then they would have to sell the rights. And when they sold the rights, there was a group of guys who decided, you know what? Valiant had a lot of great people. They had a lot of great characters, and started buying up all these different characters that were part of the original Valiant run of comics, and then started producing what we now know as the new Valiant Entertainment comic universe. And there you see the very first issue, the very first volume of the brand new Bloodshot series, which is more based on the current movie we're going to talk about than any of the other incarnations. What made this version of Bloodshot so great was it combined the original version, it combined the Acclaim version into one amalgamed great version of Bloodshot that we get into today's society.
So let's talk about the movie. We don't have time to play the trailer.
Oh, we still got time. Actually, let's go to this trailer right now.
Managed to bring back, but improved, enhanced. With the technology in your veins, you have an army inside you that will not only make you stronger, it will heal you instantly. Holy shit. Now tell me, do you remember anything?
Where are you going?
I've got unfinished business. I'm gonna find the man who murdered my wife and kill him.
Oh, that's not good.
All right, shut him down.
And initiate sequence. Okay, who is the next target for elimination?
Memories are made of this.
Tell me, do you remember anything?
Do I know you guys?
I don't think so.
They've been manipulating you. What you think is real sometimes ain't.
And initiate sequence.
Me forever.
Sure about that? Revenge is what makes a man like you exceptional.
You know nothing about men like me.
That is absolutely fantastic.
I feel like I just heard this. Are they playing this on repeat?
And there is Vin Diesel as the character known as Bloodshot. We can't even get to every bit of things about Bloodshot. There's Bloodshot Reborn, Bloodshot Salvation.
I'm going to pick it up this week.
I'm going to have to at least check it out. I mean, to me, you got to give it at least a try. You got to at least watch it once, because there's some things in this world, like, let's be real, we all hear how terrible Batman and Robin is. Legit, it's considered one of the worst Batmans ever created.
I did. in a weird way, I like it.
But there you go. Everybody
it was
has
a
a
horrible
different
movie, but
everybody has their
still
own cup of
enjoyed
tea.
it.
So
I enjoyed it.
And this is why I've always say, like, on this show, I very much am of the mindset: don't bash what you hate, but elevate and talk about the things that you love. That should be the main focus of the show. Talking about what we love, even if we're not the biggest fans of it, talk about what we loved about it. And for me, I loved a little bit of this Bloodshot. I can't wait to check out this movie. But we're going to move on. That's our character spotlight of the week, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to move on to a little book review.
Yeah, so normally it's not comic book, but our good friend Mark Muncy, we're working on a show with him right now.
Eerie Travels.
We were here this past Sunday doing some recordings for his show. And I told Mark, I'm like, hey, can I buy a book? I want a book, my own book, because I know the studio has copies of the books, but I wanted my own. So I picked up the first book, Eerie, Florida.
And then you can also pick up Freaky Florida right off of their website over at eerieflorida.com.
So this one, the Everglades have the exclusive skunk ape, a strange bipedal creature recognized by its odor, an uncanny doll reputed to have life of its own, great visitors in Florida Keys Museum. Which, do you know who that one is?
Isn't that doll you showed
Robert
me?
the doll.
Stupid doll.
We haven't. I can't wait to go Key West. I know Mark's seen it. I want to go meet Robert.
Really?
The doll.
Why is everybody gonna give me crap about this doll? Even Rob's giving. Nevertheless, you can check out a lot of these stories in Eerie, Florida, or Freaky Florida.
It's a great book. I started reading it over the weekend. I really enjoy it. Again, Mark, thank you. And I love the little doodling that his wife did for me in the book.
EerieFlorida.com, ladies and gentlemen. Check out those two amazing books. And of course, Eerie Travels when it debuts here on WeBeam TV.
I gotta say one quote Mark put on here. Never moon a werewolf.
Fair enough, I'll allow it.
I read that and I just started laughing in my car that day.
But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us here at Comic Book 101. Thank you all for joining us here on this wonderful edition. Please join us next week. We will have tons more fun. I, as always, am your wonderful, prettiful, beautiful host, the Princess of Weird 17.
Apparently we got a donation.
25?
Nikki donated $25. So, because we're running out of time,
we're opening the show with that. Next week,
we will open the show
next
week
him.
with me being paddled.
Would you be willing to open it up next week for
next week.
It's official, guys. We're going to do it next week.
We'll open it up with the paddling.
Please.
Nikki, I promise we'll do it next Tuesday.
We got you.
We're only 15 seconds away from closing.
Thank you all for joining us. Once again, wonderful, prettiful, beautiful Princess of Weird 17, Josh Johnson, the
Michael
wonderful
Stanley, Cosplay in Tampa Bay. You know how to hit us up, and we will see you
next week. Thank you for joining us. Please be safe and friendly with one another.